Ripple, Cardano, Filecoin, Sequentia, Harmony One, and a few other heavy hitters in the world of blockchain. We at Mutual Knowledge Systems have been working on many different projects, and today we are introducing our own thing, Sky Protocol, with the lead architect, François-René Rideau, Faray, president and chief scientist of Moon, and also the lead architect on the Sky Protocol project. Hi, Faray.
Hello, Gauthier.
So we're not going to act as if we didn't know each other. Of course, we work together. So today is a propaganda podcast to talk about how awesome the Sky Protocol project is. First of all, can you please describe to us, as if I were a total moron, what Sky Protocol is?
The Sky Protocol is a data availability network targeted right now at Cardano specifically, but in the future for any blockchain. And Cardano is the first blockchain we worked with actually at Moon 5 years ago. And now we're going back to our roots, and we're very excited to bring our long-standing projects for data availability network to fruition. Actually, it's not just a project for data availability network. It's a very source of our name. Our name is Mutual Knowledge Systems. And what is mutual knowledge? Back when I invented this technology, there were no names as widespread as now data availability network. I call it mutual knowledge. It's a word from
Game theory?
epistemic logic, actually.
Oh.
In epistemic logic, it's a logic of who knows what. And in epistemic logic, there is a modality called common knowledge, and another called shared knowledge or mutual knowledge. In mutual knowledge, it's knowledge that everyone knows. If everyone in the room knows something, everyone in the room knows and prefers Spanish or something like that. So this is called mutual knowledge. And if everyone in the room realizes that everyone in the room knows Spanish and thinks it's the best language to speak, suddenly they can translate to speaking Spanish instead of English or whatever, or French. So it's the difference between knowing something and knowing that everyone else knows that everyone else knows that everyone else knows, etc. That thing. And in a way, blockchain consensus creates a variant of common knowledge. It's a consensus. It's an agreement. It's everyone knows that everyone knows. This is the thing, and everyone agrees that everyone sees it. And this is called common knowledge. And what we do with data availability networks is mutual knowledge. It's what everyone knows. There may or may not be a consensus, or maybe the consensus is in the future, but right now already everyone knows the things. And of course, it's cheaper to have everyone know something than to have everyone know that everyone knows that everyone knows that everyone knows something. So you can do interesting things with mutual knowledge that you cannot do with common knowledge, or you can speed up things thanks to mutual knowledge in ways that you cannot with just common knowledge. You still need the common knowledge. The common knowledge, the consensus, you need it to settle disputes, to ensure that there's no double spend, to ensure that everyone agrees on the account. So you need the common knowledge, but you don't need it for everyday operations, or you don't need it for the common case where there is no fraud, for instance.
Okay, so allow me to then ask you to simplify the definition of Sky Protocol. So in this broad definition of mutual knowledge, what is Sky Protocol? So it's a data availability engine. So what does it do for the Cardano users?
Create this mutual knowledge. It's the fact that the data is public and everyone knows it, and therefore you can trust that the thing will happen, or you can trust that you can see that there is no conflict even before you can have proven in court that there's no conflict, and therefore you can transact. You can do things faster. You can issue lots of transactions for layer 2 sidechain. Basically, we can speed up layer 2s, and you can speed up not just one layer 2, but all the layer 2s on Cardano and all the layer 2s on any blockchain. You will be able to speed up and create those layer 2s to begin with, thanks to this data availability network that ensures that the data is here for all to see, and therefore that there is no fraud, no bad behavior, and you can publish lots and lots of data much cheaper than you could if you had to reach common knowledge.
All right, and so that means that every dApp, every decentralized application, or every smart contract working on a layer 2 of Cardano could benefit from Sky Protocol itself, right?
Yes. So more precisely, anyone could write or rewrite their dApp or adapt their dApp. So now, instead of running directly on Cardano, it can run on Cardano with this Sky Protocol as an intermediary, or as a facilitating step, as a scalability engine, as an engine that makes you faster, more reliable, and or more censorship resistant. We also have we'll have modalities in Sky Protocol to help you be more censorship resistant or more private at the expense of latency. That is, there are always trade-offs on the blockchain, and Sky Protocol will allow you to choose a trade-off that works for your application. So you want plenty of data and you don't care about censorship or whatever, you can publish it very fast. It will be available for the blockchain in big volumes, no problem. And you don't care too much about validation, for instance. Or you care about validation, or you care about censorship, and you will use such different topics. So when you use this, when you will use the Sky Protocol, you will agree on a topic where you publish data, and the topic will be sized for your use. It will be encrypted for your use, and then you'll pick the right compromise or the right trade-off for your application, and then you will pay the minimum price that corresponds just to this trade-off, instead of trying to build everything for everyone, and everyone has to pay the maximum price for everything, which would be, if you go directly on layer 1, you'll pay the high price, the high fees for all the transactions all the time. But if you have an application that doesn't have the same constraint, you can be much cheaper and have much higher volume, much better latency, much better censorship resistance, or whatever, depending on your application. And you choose the trade-off for your application, and you are still compatible with the blockchain. You can still trade blockchain secured assets that are made secure by Cardano or by whichever other blockchain later we support. So you will be able to have an application that is more efficient and tailored to your needs, and overall blockchain system that is tailored to your needs, and not have to pay the maximum price all the time.
So the concrete consequence here with Sky Protocol is to reduce transaction fees drastically, first of all?
Yes, that's the one thing. Reduce drastically transaction fees and increase scalability.
By how much?
As much as you're ready to sacrifice for the depending, but it would be very considerable to have a price decrease by 10x or 100x if you have lots of volume, for instance, or if you.
So we could at least divide that by 10 if we succeed in our goal, right?
Yes, or 10 easily. Yes, so the goal target is more like 110, but yes, 10x is a good target also.
So dear listeners, you might think, okay, so I have to disclose a conflict of interest. Of course, as an interviewer, I am my invitee's business partner. So there could be a conflict of interest when I tell you, oh, this guy is actually always very careful in his assertions. But please look him up. Look at all his conferences when he's doing his talks about security through clarity and other talks, and look at his blog, and you will see that most of the time he's super careful. So when he's saying, yeah, conservative estimate 10 times, that's usually a conservative estimate. So that's quite pleasant to hear.
The thing is that, for instance, US versus European styles are different. So if a US guy tells you, yeah, 10x or whatever, he may not mean it. But if a European guy says it, he usually means it. Well, then the question, can he deliver on what he means? But Yeah, there are cultural differences. You should hear something different if a French dude says something versus American dude says something.
Yeah, same thing with management. In America, many people say, "Oh, it's awesome," whereas in many countries they only say that it's awesome only when it's amazing, really.
Yes. Oh, it's not bad, or oh, it's trash, but actually it's just like
In
yeah,
Netherlands or Germany, they do say that. So yeah,
yes.
when we at Moon say that Sky Protocol can reduce transaction fees by at least 10, it's at least 10, and it could be much more, dear friends. Okay, so is there another consequence for the dApp developers who would use Sky Protocol on top of their app?
So yes and no. It depends what if you want consequences, there can be. There can be, for instance, oh, you want something virtual machine that's closer to Ethereum or whatever, or something that's tailored to your app. You could use a whatever contract you want with Sky Protocol. The advantage of Sky Protocol, it's agnostic to your means of validation. So whether you want to use optimistic validation or validation through zero knowledge proofs, both are possible with will be possible with Sky Protocol with different trade-offs. We want also to implement something where the Sky Protocol does the validation for you, which means more trust put onto the Sky Protocol, but sometimes that's what you want. So then we become a regular bridge slash committee, but programmable. And we want all this continuum of where do you want to validate what, and we want to be compatible with that. So you want to be completely validated with zero knowledge proofs and use something compatible with Cardano, you will be able to do that. If you will want to have something like optimistically verified and have something more like Ethereum virtual machine, you will be able to do that. And if you want to have a Bitcoin-like blockchain completely validated by Sky Protocol without validation on the blockchain side, you will also be able to do that. It will all be possible.
And so you also told me that there is a possibility to use the total locked value of the whole layer one. So basically, to simplify it, to oversimplify it, all the money that is on the main blockchain to secure the side chains. Can you explain that safety problem to our listeners?
Yes, today there are many people who have generally similar ideas. So have a validation network and then have many applications with it. I think that the most well known is Cosmos. And in the Cosmos ecosystem, you have a one main network, which is the Cosmos network, which issues its Atom or whatever the name of the token. And the problem is that this token only validates the main network and not the sub networks, which means that if you have an application, even though Cosmos is say worth $4 billion overall, but your application is only protected by a subcommittee of worth like $1 million worth of Cosmos tokens. Actually, your security is not $4 billion worth of security, it's only $1 million worth of security, which means that it's much easier to hack you, and you cannot have more than $1 million in assets in your application, and it's not very capital efficient. That is, you don't basically, building on Cosmos versus building your new network is not that much more interesting, because you still need basically to build your own network. Just now you're inside Cosmos, so maybe they facilitate the liquidity a little bit, but on the other hand, they also restrict the amount of liquidity available. So, and you gain here, you lose there. It's not a big advantage to use Cosmos for your validation, because the capital actually available to validate your application is small. And my idea with the Sky Protocol is that the total amount of capital that protects your application is essentially the same as the total amount of the chain. So if Sky Protocol is protected by $1 billion in the future, you will have a $1 billion worth of security for your network, and not just 1
just the
million.
amount of the sidechain and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is basically a great means also to ensure safety at a cheap price. And so some people ask this. It's been only 2 days we've launched the Twitter, but we already have many people asking questions. And some of them basically said, okay, what's the difference with Midgard, for example?
Midgard. So Midgard is a project on Cardano that has a layer 2 blockchain that implements basically a Cardano on Cardano. And it's a very interesting project. And basically, Sky Protocol could be a way for Midgard to publish their data or to share their network. I would love to work with them. It's the two could work together. So I would see Midgard would be a project that we focus on implementing the protocol and the smart contract, etc. And we would be then focusing on publishing the data, doing the network layer, doing the making sure the data is available for everyone. And so I see the two as complementary. And as I said, right now, if Midgard goes by themselves, they will be only protected by, say, $10 million of however much money they raise to protect their network. Whereas if they join force with us and we manage to raise like $100 billion for 10 different applications. Now, each application is protected by $100 billion instead of each application being protected only by $10 million. So,
wow, that's wonderful. So, Midgard guys, if you are listening to us, we'd love to work with Midgard. Oh, okay. And how different is it from another technology that is called state channels?
it's quite different. So both are technologies for layer 2. So Sky Protocol is a technology to facilitate side chains, and state channels are different layer 2. The difference is that side chains are better for open applications that anyone can join and leave at any time. And state channels are better for what we call closed applications, an application that has a small finite number of people participating at any time. And sure, maybe you can add or remove members, but at any point in time, this interaction has finite number of people. So if you have a specific instance of, say, a futures contract, and you're looking for new partners, then you want a sidechain. You want a place where, here, I have a contract, I'm looking for someone to join, and you put it on the sidechain and you find someone else to join. But if you have already your specific instance, now I have these two people doing this futures contract. Now it's I bought and you sold or whatever. Now this is better done on a state channel where the contract is between close people, and now we don't have to exchange messages on the side chain or anything. We can just do it between ourselves.
All right.
So I think the two technologies are complementary. Ideally, you want something like a sidechain for any open interaction, and as soon as the people find each other, meet each other on the sidechain, and now they open a state channel and they finish that there, and no one needs to know more about it. So,
okay, so state channels is basically a great application for private payments with a finite amount of people that you know, so that you can have a private channel. And what we're doing here at Sky Protocol is the opposite. When you have to do, for example, DeFi on Cardano, things like that.
Yes. So if you want to have once again, a DeFi contract that's where you publish and sell and buy futures, or have a DEX or something, the place where people meet each other, so the DEX itself, you want a sidechain for that. And once the people have met, to conclude, to do the settlement, to do everything, you want a state channel for that.
Dear listeners, this is now probably a good explanation for you guys about why we have a stretch goal, which is to build a small DEX in order to show the capabilities of Sky Protocol. So if we get overfunded and if the token sale is very successful, there will be a DEX as well. That's in our roadmap. And speaking of the roadmap, Farid, can you please brief us a bit about what the next steps are for Sky Protocol, so that the listeners know what they're up to if they buy the token?
Okay, so Sky Protocol at its heart is this network to publish data. It's comparable to things like Celestia or Eigenlayer, and there are many other people in this market right now, although I think none is targeting Cardano at this time. But it's a well-known kind of idea. I think the idea is 5 or 6 years old at least, back when people were thinking, how do we extend Ethereum and other network with layer 2 in a safe way? And they say, okay, we can do all these validations with contracts, but then we realize, oh, to have the contract with the validation, the data must be known, otherwise whoever manages the data can hold other people hostages, basically. If the coordinator or the person who publishes the data on the network can withhold the data, it's called data withholding attacks, at which point the data is not available for other people, they can't get their money out of the sidechain, and it's bad. So to prevent this kind of thing from happening, you need to have data availability. The first thing we want is publish the data in a simple way and have a network of validators, make it more decentralized as we go, make it have more options of validation as we go, have more options of privacy as we go. I mentioned that an important thing is topics. We want to be able to say, hey, all my data will be published on this topic, and this topic has to be capped by volume. Say this is a data for 1 megabyte per second max, and this is a topic that was 1 gigabyte per second max, and etc. And once you have selected your topic, now people who want to validate your sidechain, they only need to listen to this topic, not all the sidechain. That's how we can scale as much as the internet, basically, because at any point in time, you only have to listen to a small shard of the topics that is limited in size. So your machine, even though your machine is not the fastest in the world, you can still validate your part of the network.
That's fascinating. And so also some people have asked on social media what the relationship with our two products that were released on Cardano is. So Sky Protocol will be released on Cardano. And we have produced Avoom, which is a technology that works on Nervos, and we also made the feasibility study on Cardano, and Charles Hoskinson himself in one of his weekly videos praised the Avoom project as well. So that's this one, and we have also the Glow project, and we have been funded through Catalyst grants and through a sponsorship by IOHK. So how do these two projects interact with Sky Protocol, if they do?
I think they're also complementary projects. So Sky Protocol is a project that focuses on the data availability itself. But once you have the data available and you have your main blockchain, you want to validate the data from one to the other. And then you need a programming language to do that and to specify the shape of your data, etc. And that's why you want a programming language such as Glow, for instance, that will allow you to specify the shape of your data and generate the contract for Cardano and generate a contract for Ethereum, etc. So now you can have the same chain that is validated both on Cardano and on Ethereum, which allows the same sidechain to have on it both Cardano assets and Ethereum assets. So you will be able to build applications that bridge multiple blockchains because you use the same language in the same data availability network. So hopefully we want to make it easier for people to write an application that is essentially blockchain independent. And for that, you will use a blockchain independent language such as Glow that we developed before to write your application in a way that, oh, now I can deploy on Cardano, I can deploy on Ethereum, I can deploy on Solana and whatever. And you will be able to write an application that deploys on everything and that deploys on Mina, because we can also produce zero knowledge proofs or things like that. So you will be able to deploy on all the blockchains you want from one specification. The two are separate. You could have a Glow without Sky Protocol or Sky Protocol without Glow, but I think there is a potential synergy between the two. And similarly, Avoom is a technology to have blockchains that have both UTXO and accounts at the same time. The advantages of both, the best of both worlds of UTXO and accounts. That is, the past is as solid as UTXOs, and the future is as flexible as accounts. And the Avum technology allows us to do that. And we would like to have that also in conjunction with SCAP protocol, where the SCAP protocol would provide the data. And does this data represent UTXOs? Does it represent accounts? Does it represent just raw data that is uninterpreted? It can be any of that. And thanks to Avum technology, it can have the advantages of both UTXOs and accounts. And so we expect that in the future, that's how people will build blockchain or sidechain or whatever. They will have the advantages of UTXOs. There are plenty of advantages that UTXOs have. There are also a few disadvantages, but the disadvantages are more in the how flexible it is to write applications that deal with future transactions and queuing transactions. This is very hard to queue transactions with UTXOs.
Yeah, because it's so massively parallel that you have specific hacks on these types of blockchains and we protect people from that with our technology.
Yes. So Avum gives you the ease of verifying the blockchain in parallel because it's UTXO on chain. It gives you the ease of queuing new transactions also in parallel concurrently because it has this account view on the data. So
Fascinating. So, dear listeners, this is also answering a few of the questions that I saw on social media on Twitter. Twitter. I'm getting old. On X yesterday. So basically, some people asked, "What's the interest of Glow?" Well, Glow is a very specific, a domain-specific language. So that's why, compared to Plutus and other languages, it does so many things. They do so much more, but because they do much more, they are not as specialized as Glow, and this is why Glow has an interest here. But guys, some of you asked if Sky Protocol would be compatible with Icon, so the very well spread smart contract language on Cardano these days. Well, yes, it will be compatible with Icon, and we make it an imperative to not tie our users to a proprietary technology that would be the exact opposite of what of our product philosophy.
Yes, the way I conceive things is I conceive things more as modules that are largely independent, that have some synergy, but we want to be able to use, yes, Sky Protocol with Icon and with Solidity and with Plutus and with all the languages you will want to use. And Glow will be usable with Sky Protocol or with something else, etc. And our state channel will also be able to work on whichever networks. The idea is we want modular components and help people use the best tools at the best point. And if we find that, for instance, there is not interest in Glow, that's okay, because we have this module Sky protocol that will work with everything else, and conversely. So we really believe in competition, compatibility, co-opetition more than just competition. Like it's the best wins, but the best make everyone win together. Like it's not just the best win and the other died. No, the best win and everyone benefit because this is a solution that.
You talked about Solidity, and this is also a good way for me to ask you a question. So that means that in the future, not for this token sale, but maybe for a second token offering, so that we're not offering the whole pool now, and in a few months when we're done with the first goals, that means we can make a second token offering, and we can port Sky Protocol to other blockchains as well, such as Ethereum.
Yes, the goal is always to port Sky Protocol to all the blockchains. And should we have a second blockchain offering or token offering, or have more like? I think that eventually you want to have only one token for everything. So it does not necessarily make sense to issue too many different kinds of tokens, but it might make sense to issue. Now this token will be more useful because now it will be useful not just for Ethereum, for Cardano, but also for Ethereum, etc. So every time we support a new network, the value of the token will rise, but it's also a good opportunity to increase the capitalization, because if you want to be able to secure a larger amount of data or applications, you will want to also raise the value of the network, raise more capital, because in the end, the capital helps secure the network. It's the fact that, as in any proof of stake, the validators put their capital down and are responsible for getting things, or the value of their tokens go down. That's what protects the network. The fact that there is people who have put money down and have a vested interest in the network continuing to operate. That's why the validators won't cheat or won't double spend or won't help you. Hey, I'm a validator, I could help this guy steal $1 million from whatever. Yes, but the value of your token will drop by more than $1 million, so don't do it. So
you're facing the whole. If you want to cheat, you have to fight the whole concept of economics. So
yes, so that's why in the end there can be only one network, or like it's just like a Highlander. I strongly believe that. Okay, Highlander is a bit extreme view, but yes, there will be one main network, and the second network will be somewhat far behind, and the third even far behind, etc. There will be a very decreasing
winner takes all effect.
Yeah, a strong winner takes all, but still there's a small chance that the winner will fail, and that's what gives the value to the second best. The value of the second best is just insurance in case the best one fails. So why is Ethereum so far behind Bitcoin or something? Okay, because Bitcoin is still the main contender. Actually, the US dollar is still the main contender, and Bitcoin is far behind. And every time the US dollar falls, well, Bitcoin says, hey, actually the value of Bitcoin increases, not because necessarily Bitcoin has gotten better, but because the odds that it becomes the best are bigger. And similarly, in case Bitcoin fails, well, there's Ethereum. In case Ethereum fails, well, there's Solana or whatever, or Cardano, or whoever is next on the list.
So the goal now is basically to have networks that are, or technologies that are the most as interoperable as possible and as chain as agnostic as possible, and that's why we decided to do that, right?
Yes, my main goal has always been to help interoperate between the blockchains. When I entered the blockchain world, everyone reinvents everything from scratch and doesn't interoperate, and it sucks. And you innovate, then you receive a big pile of money from a token raise, and then you stop cooperating, and then there's no more innovation, because once you've raised a token, you're not interested in. You have an established thing, and you don't want to innovate. Like the incentives are terrible in the blockchain industry right now. And my bet is that by building a play that is centered around interoperability, and the value of the network is in the interoperability, we can hopefully reverse or find an incentive that counters the incentive toward not interoperability, because the whole point of Skype protocol, of Glow, etc., is to make things interoperable, lower the barrier to adoption, lower the barrier to cooperation, lower the barrier to having people work together. I want the innovation. I want easier innovation in one blockchain. I want us to adopt it very fast, or maybe not for the whole network, but it becomes available to the network, and then can go within the network without having to kill the thing, to kill and start again. I want innovation to be possible without to have to kill the blockchain and start a new blockchain. Yes.
Wonderful. I like the idea to be the Switzerland of blockchain and not to kill every competitor, instead thrive together. Thank you so much, Fare.
Okay.
Any last word in 20 seconds?
Sure. To me, the same as evolution, learning while you're alive versus evolution by dying and having a new generation of people appearing. I want blockchain to be able to learn, and learn better and faster.
Thank you so much, everyone. This was Mutual Knowledge Podcast, a special episode, because here I'm not interviewing somebody else. I'm interviewing a person from the company, and so advertising a project that we are building. But, sometimes it feels good. And look it up, skyprotocol or .org. We are currently preparing that token sale and building a great data availability engine and scaling solution for Cardano and possibly many other blockchains in the future. Stay tuned, everyone. Bye, Fare.
Bye. Thank you for having me.